Welcome everyone to episode 295 of Just Joshing. I'm your host Joshua Penteloresco. I write stuff in podcast 2. Today, Randy McCharles returns to the podcast, talk the Auroras, but talk his newest book series, what he's been doing in the last year. It's always a pleasure to have Randy on the show. Randy's one of the probably most positive influences in the Calgary community, and like I said, I'm going to miss him a lot with everything about to happen, but as is, things have kind of changed. Today, I learned how to drive a Zamboni. I shifted jobs at the day job already, just kind of to prep for the time to go. It was weird walking home today, actually coming home today, and not feeling any kind of physical pain for the first time in a long time, which was actually kind of nice. Like I said, I'm doing maintenance stuff at the day job right now, which, hey, it's not a bad deal. I get to work nice hours and get to go home at a regular time. Getting used to my sleep is going to probably take me the rest of the week to adjust to the new schedule, but it's going to be cool. While I'm still here, I'm going to be making as many waves as possible. I'm not going to be eligible to be transferred until the first of the month. I'm expecting probably to hear something shortly thereafter. I'm very, very excited about that. But even if not, I'm just taking it easy, having a good time. Anyway, let's get to our conversation and, talk a little bit more after.
This episode of Just Joshing is sponsored by Indie Imprint. Indie Imprint supports creators by creators. Whether you are writing a book or creating a video game, Indie Imprint works with its clients to produce, edit, and present their projects to the world. For more information, check out their website at www.indieimprint.com. Claudia Morgan is the author of 2 novels, The Decadence of Our Souls and Water Entanglement. The Decadence of Our Souls is a cross between a spiritual book and a thriller, and in Water Entanglement, Claudia delivers a well-written, convincing snapshot of water scarcity into the future. What will you do when you realize that water has memory, water is alive, and that the time for her to awaken is now? The novels are available as an ebook or in print through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or any other major bookstore. The audiobook will be available soon. For more info, look at claudiamorgan.com.
So, as usual, if you have anything incriminating you'd like to say, make it good.
I've been working hard.
I see that. Wow. Wow.
So, I've been writing speculative fiction for many, many years. And now I'm releasing some non-speculative fiction.
I see that. So, Peter Galloway, huh?
Yeah.
So, this is what they say, soft-boiled detective.
Yes.
Yes. So, okay, we'll pretend I had no help with that whatsoever. But real quick, why the change?
Okay, well, in 2015, I was invited to submit a short story to Hoffenkopf Press's EB Negative anthology, which is Alberta crime.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, I'm going to write a straight crime piece, non-speculative. And my speculative fiction has a lot of mystery in it.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going, this will be a nice limitation on it, right?
Yeah.
Some new frontiers, some new walls. So I wrote a short story called Murder on the Mall, which is the prequel here.
Okay.
Introducing a retired homicide cop turned private eye named Peter Galloway, and set in Calgary, where he's supposed to be trying to catch some small-time retail extortionists, and just when he's about to catch them, one of them is killed.
Oh.
And so now he's sucked into a homicide, which in a short story he actually solves. And I find that difficult to do, doing a full mystery in a short story. But
that would be, well, yeah, because mysteries tend to be like, it's about setting up puzzle pieces and then solving them.
Yeah.
But you only have, how many words did you have?
I don't know, 5,000 words or less.
That's not a lot of time to set up and execute a...
So I basically made it a character piece.
Yeah,
The story is really about Peter Galloway, how he operates. I got a good write-up in the Calgary Herald. I got some fan mail.
Awesome.
Coming in, saying people love Peter Galloway, I need to put him in a novel.
Okay.
So I said, well, I don't know, a novel doesn't feel like enough, I'll put him in 5. In the short story, he gets ill at the sight of blood.
Interesting.
I don't explain it. Just that the reason he quit being a homicide cop is because he gets ill at the sight of lead.
Okay.
And so the 5 novels delve deep into why that is. Each novel is standalone, but there's his character story arc over the 5 novels is all the whys and wherefores behind why he gets ill at the sight of lead.
So it still sounds like very much a character piece.
Today's fiction has to be character driven.
Yes.
And so the writing is character driven, but because I have a whole novel, I have a standalone mystery in each of the 5 books.
If you don't mind my asking, how big are your novels? Like, what's the average?
The average is probably 75,000 words.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very impressive.
Right now I'm launching it as a quick release ebook series.
Okay.
So
when's it launching?
Well, the short story and the first novel were launched in August.
Okay.
Later this month, the second novel comes out.
So what's your schedule, like monthly?
Well, every month or two.
Every month or two?
The novels take place from December through July.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to release each novel a couple of months before the time frame they actually take place in.
Will you release the last one in July?
No,
I'll
release it like in April.
April, May. Okay.
So book 5 will be out in like April.
Okay.
And I'm already working on books 6 through 10.
So you're going to keep doing the multi-release? Is that the plan?
Well, it took me a little over 2 years to do these 5 books.
Yeah.
I don't want to wait 2 years to release another book. So I'll probably try to speed that up.
Okay, so are you going to keep with the... See, it's interesting to me because I look at someone like Tracy Posey who releases a book every 3 weeks. Is that like the ideal for you, or would you like spreading it out a little bit more?
I'm not sure how long her books are. Do you happen to know?
They vary from like 30 to 60,000 words.
So Tracy's great.
Yeah.
I love Tracy. Right now I'm releasing these in ebook, but I want them released in trade paperback as well.
Absolutely.
And so they've got to be at least 60,000 words each. Also, I'm not sure I want to do a story that short.
No, it's fair. I mean, if you're comfortable where it is, there's nothing wrong keeping it where it is.
No, so again, you got to write it and see what it turns into.
Yeah, no, totally. So, I guess I should ask this. So, once you get the first 5 books, is it easier to get into the character now, or is it because you have so much continuity now? Even though they are standalones, there is always a little bit of continuity in each book. Does it get harder? Does it get easier?
Well, I think overall it's easier.
Yeah.
You've got some challenges. You don't want your characters to get stale. You want to have enough information in there that if somebody starts on book 7, they're not lost. And so there's different challenges.
Yeah.
Again, I try to make all of these standalone. It does help to read them in order because of the character arc. Spans books.
No, that's what I mean. Like, because your character arc evolves, and because it is such a character piece, right? So I guess you like the character.
Oh, I love the character.
Yeah.
When I was first invited to do that short story, I'm trying to think of what to do. I thought, what I really liked was the TV show Due South.
Okay.
With Paul Gross as the proper Canadian RCMP officer. And I wanted to kind of get that feel.
Okay.
And so I made Peter Galloway kind of too nice to be a cop kind of a guy.
That could be a lot of fun,
so
actually.
He didn't get along with his co-workers because he wasn't ruthless enough. He was too nice. He would actually try to speak reasonably with people instead of put the hammer down and show them who's boss. He's an interesting character. Very likable in a lot of ways, but also with a lot of problems of his own.
Well, yeah. I mean, someone with that demeanor, right? There might be I haven't read any of these yet, so I can't say. There might be issues with how he expresses himself, or there might be other things that come along with that.
Oh, no, actually, he's really good at expressing himself.
Okay.
So he reads people well and situations, and he will express himself in the manner appropriate to get what he wants.
Okay.
So, for example, in the first book, Murder in Wood Buffalo, the RCMPs would actually comment that he was a little harsh in that last encounter they had. because in previous encounters, of course, he's a soft touch, right? And he explains why. That the situation called for him to be a bit harsher, and so he was.
So he's kind of empathic, very empathetic towards everybody around him.
Well, not empathic so much, but he's a smart guy.
Okay.
Not in the world of women, but in the world, he's a smart guy.
Nobody's perfect. I'm not smart in the world of women. I think most guys aren't.
I'm reflecting me in that.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those. So I guess that's this. Are you going to go back to speculative at this point?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I have 2 books coming out from Taiki.
Oh, awesome.
Next summer I will have Connecticut Gumshoe in King Arthur's Court.
Oh.
Which is a mashup of the Maltese Falcon and the Connecticut Yankee story.
Yes.
So it's a humorous time travel gumshoe type book. And then the year after, I have a sequel to that book coming out.
Ooh, that's really cool. Congrats, first off. And second, although they don't really sound like, obviously they're different tones, but
they're
totally different.
Yeah.
But it is still, it almost sounds like you, and also when I think about your Capone book, right? This sounds like this is kind of like a niche you're very comfortable with. Or maybe you enjoy doing one or the other.
Yes, I've written stuff other than soft-boiled detective.
Absolutely. Oh, no, absolutely.
But I do really enjoy the genre.
Yes. So, yeah. It kind of feels like it.
Yeah.
Also, I can just see. I just see it just based on how well I know you. Just they're like the way the problems and stuff build. It's almost like you're building a story. Like the way the story builds is something that would very much appeal to your sensibilities. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't start a story until I have a fairly good idea of kind of where it goes and ends, but I can't a lot of it all the way through. I learn more about the characters and situations as I write it.
For me, I kind of like do like Cloud Diver. I have like I almost kind of I call it my treasure map method. I have a beginning, and an ending, and I have a couple things that happen in the middle, but not everything. And then I kind of roadmap the rest of it based on it, right? And what I've evolved into based on a young adult novel I'm working on right now is what I call the marble method. I take my old kindergarten assignment was I took a marble dipped in paint, and I just rolled it around in the box wherever it would go.
Yeah.
Right? I let myself make the biggest mess I possibly can in that first draft, and then the second draft is like, okay, what works, what doesn't, and like that's where I'm at in terms of how I write. Like, is it a lot more? Well, you've done way more books than I have at this point, so is it easier at this point, or is it a little less of that mess, or is it more?
Virtually nothing I write is messy. When I first started writing, I wrote dozens of short stories, and that's where I did the marble approach.
Yeah.
Just let things fly and see where they led. So I kind of figured out my own style doing the short stories.
So for you, you're a lot more comfortable with your voice, and as a result, it's.
Well, I'm very strong on characters have to do things you would reasonably believe they would do. And so if your story, you know the beginning, you know the end, that whole trail from beginning to end is going to be stuff the characters would reasonably do. So I'm going to throw this at my character. What would my character do?
Yeah.
And then you do that. And sometimes it's not what you expect because you learn to know your character better as you're writing the first draft.
Oh no, some things really surprise you.
Yeah.
Right? They really do. And those are the best parts though. And sometimes the characters talk to you, you need to do this. And they're like, and then you're like, I don't want to do that, but
people say that and it scares some people.
Yeah.
When authors say my characters tell me what to do, but they're not really voice in your head telling you what to do. You're in your mind going, this is what this character would do.
Absolutely. Yeah. It just the way there's almost it's weird because when I think about writing, it's sometimes especially when you're pantsing stuff. You're almost like a conduit when you're going. There's like a Zen state when you're writing. So it's you, but it's also like you're in this almost like this trance when you're actually getting this stuff out there. So when it comes out, you're like, I didn't know what the heck was this, right? Sometimes it's exactly as you envision it, and that's also neat in its own way because it's like. I had a story so strongly in my head that it actually came out almost exactly as I envisioned it.
Well, the more you think about it, the more detailed you're going to get about it. You're going to know it better. And you're going to pretty much write down what you thought. The more you think about it, the less you think about it, the more surprises you're going to have when you write it down. But the more interesting part in the series is your protagonist, in this case Peter Galloway, Private Eye, is constant throughout the books. And you know that character, you know what that character would do, and you're always trying to find surprising circumstances where he has to stop and go, what should I do? You're always trying to do that. The more interesting part is the villains, which are different in each book. And you have to make them the hero of their own stories and give them proper motivations to be villains.
Well, villains are fun because I enjoy the fact that it lets me do things I wouldn't normally do.
You get to be the villain.
Exactly, right? Well, let's be honest. Like, we all have parts of ourselves that aren't necessarily the more conducive to society, but these emotions, whatever they are there. So you have this outlet in these characters, and it's a healthy way of actually expressing it.
Oh, it is.
Right, it's a very healthy way of expressing it. You get it out in the open, and it's done. It's like, it's not in me anymore. It's out, and I'm a healthy, relatively sane person that listens to voices in his head. It's all good. But
they still cannot be your darker self, because your darker self is not reasonable and realistic and not the hero of their own story.
Oh, no.
So it has to be more than that.
Oh, no. That's where it starts. And then from there, again, it's almost asking the same questions of who, what, when, where, how, and why. And I think the most interesting ones are when it's finding the right villain for your hero, too. And that's a big part of it, too. Like, some villains make no sense for your hero. Other villains do. Like, in my book coming out soon, my villain is a salesman for the corporation that my character is leaving.
Yes.
So he's all about safety, security versus getting out of your comfort zone. So there's a natural conflict there.
Yes.
Right? So, and that makes total sense. Right? That's why he's a good villain for my character. Right? Now, if I made him fight, say, God, that wouldn't make any sense in the context of the story I'm telling, because there's just no reason for that.
Unless it's a speculative comedy,
Yeah, exactly, right. But I mean, that's just it. Like, I think the big key with villains, not only do they have to be a full character in and of themselves, but they actually have to fit something. Especially if you're doing a character piece with your hero, they have to fit something. They have to fit what your hero is trying to say at that moment in time too.
And you have to make your villains, if not likable to the reader, interesting.
Something you can understand. At least on some level, you understand them.
You have, as a reader, you have to go, I get this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with what they're doing, but I understand why they're doing it based on who they are.
Yeah.
And a novel gives you the room to build that. A short story doesn't.
No. No, that's why I said, like, when you did a mystery in a 5,000, that's very difficult to do. You at best have one or two lines to describe the villain.
So the short story is more of a thriller than a mystery, because it's just not room.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense.
But the books are combination mystery, thriller in places. I like to have people getting beat up there and chase scenes and stuff like that. So
how are you enjoying being a hybrid author? Because I mean, you obviously still get publishing deals and you're releasing your own stuff. Is it? Do you enjoy the self-publishing creative aspect of it?
Yes, because the whole part of the business I don't like is marketing. And traditional publishers require you to do the marketing today.
Yep.
So the reason I'm a hybrid is because the added value of traditional publishing is going away. It's shrinking.
Yes.
Every project I write, I have to decide, should I self-publish this, or should I market it to a publisher, and who can give me added value that's a better choice.
Yeah. What can give you something you actually... It's weird because it's also it's an odd form of leverage, because if the publisher cannot offer you anything that you can't already do on your own, there's no point in working with them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this series, I originally planned on marketing to Dundurn Press.
Okay.
I thought,
it would be...
Dundurn, it's Canadian crime.
Yep.
Dundurn specializes in that. Maybe they can give me some added value. And then I looked at Dundurn. I liked their pricing of their books in the stores. And I thought, you know something? They will get print books in all the stores, but they don't really push ebooks.
And that's kind of a big part of the market today.
They are there, but they don't know how to produce any push behind the ebooks. And I see ebooks as the wave of the future myself.
They're definitely at least a big part. I think when you do shows, you need something physical because it adds it.
No, I understand all that.
Yeah,
which is why I will have print books.
But there is something because there's something to be said about that. But on the same token, I'm going to be launching my book as an EBook Burst too because I see the value in that, right?
So, and especially if you're self-publishing.
Yeah.
Your cost.
Yeah.
Of promoting print is so much higher than your cost of promoting.
Absolutely.
Is there. But I looked at it and I thought, I like them, I'm going to do it. And then right when I was about to send it to them, they changed owners, doubled their response times. And I thought, I don't know what else is going to change there. Maybe I'll just self-publish it. So I went there.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be fun. I mean, this seems like this is your series going forward for at least the foreseeable future. Yeah.
I've got other projects.
But no, absolutely.
I have to keep the momentum going on this.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So, good luck. I hope it goes very well for you.
I think it will, and the response so far has been great.
Yeah, I actually want to read one myself.
Well, the short story is free.
Yeah.
Because Amazon frowns upon free, the Kindle version is available on my website.
Yeah, fair enough.
Kobo has it for free. Smashwords have it for free. The novels are all $4.99, so very affordable.
Yeah, no, very affordable, very cheap. No, I'll definitely check them out. I'll check it out. We were talking off the air, I'm looking at shrinking my. It's funny because now when I'm packing books for my move, so I have all my friends' books.
Yes.
So they're all packed because I'm like, they'll kill me if I do anything like this, right? But at the same token, though, I mean, I'm looking at it like I know I'm gonna get more and more digital as time goes on because I just don't have the space.
I went digital 4 years ago, I think.
Yeah. I
rarely buy a print book. And the authors don't mind. They get a bigger royalty on ebooks and print books.
Yeah. No. It's like I said, show-wise, print's still big, but when you look beyond that, I mean, I like the fact that there's an ebook because I can just sell a little piece like that. Actually, this is where you can get a card or
Yeah. No, the show is a marketing event.
Yep.
Hopefully it's not your bread and butter because hopefully you're getting sales beyond a show.
Well,
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about everybody.
I think the interesting thing about the self-publishing model is everybody finds their audiences in different ways.
Yeah.
Some people, shows are their bread and butter, right? And they do very well.
I know people that
they
get 90% of their sales at shows.
Yeah, no, and it's their bread and butter, and they do very well, right? Other people, they do well in bookstore chains. Other people do well, right? Everybody's a little bit different. I think the really interesting thing about right now with authors is we all have this ability right now finding our own niches and kind of carving them. In my case, I have a podcast, and that's been how I broaden my audience. And in your case, you have a bit of an established name already. That definitely helps.
It helps.
Yeah, that definitely helps. But I mean, so it might be easier for you to get into these bookstores or these events and.
Well, I looked up my books in the store here before you arrived.
Yeah.
And they're pretty much sold out of everything and unlikely to get more. Because that's the nature of bookstores today.
Yes. No, it's just it's. Well, especially a bookstore like this, right? They're not catering to an independent bookseller, right?
No, but even books through my publishers.
Yeah.
Pretty much they will order 5-6 copies, and when they're gone, unless somebody actually walks in the store and orders it.
Yep.
They tend not to refill orders. That's just the nature of the bookstores today.
Yeah, well, it is, unfortunately. It is the way it's going. But I mean. It's the world we live. It's kind of the world we're going.
That's why I'm putting my eggs in the ebook basket. They never sell out.
No.
You go to Amazon or Kobo or wherever you get your ebooks from. chances are they're in stock.
Yeah, no, fair enough. So why did you choose like the broader approach? Like there's different approaches. Like there's the Amazon exclusive, and there's Amazon Kobo.
Well, these books are Canadian books.
Yeah,
they're set in Canada, Canadian protagonist. Not putting them on Kobo would be just shooting myself in the head. So,
no, fair enough. No, I just figured I'd ask that question because everybody's approach is a little bit different.
And Kobo is my go-to place. I'm Canadian.
Okay, fair enough.
Kobo is actually Japanese now.
Yes.
But it's still based in Canada, and so I tend to buy a book in EPUB if it's available in EPUB. If it's not, then I'll go to mobile.
Good. No, fair enough. Once again, I know it's not quite the same focus, but congratulations on another Aurora nomination.
Well, thank you. I always appreciate those.
Yes.
Congratulations to yourself.
Yes. This is my second one. I don't know if it's going to be a regular trend, but I'm enjoying it while it's here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I was going to ask this. When was Clyde turns 10?
Yes, next August.
Yeah. Excited? Surprised?
I'm excited. Our board's discussions of what to do that's special is interesting because no one can agree on anything.
That makes sense.
That's the only downside.
Yes.
We should do this. No, we should do that. We should do this. And oh my gosh, it's just nuts.
But that's a good problem to have, though. I mean, you've made it to 10 years.
Yeah.
The show gradually gets bigger.
Well, we can't get bigger now. It's as big as it can get.
Yeah.
We're going to be at 800 people again next year. There's just no room to go now.
That's fair.
And plus, that's a good size. Start getting to 1,000, and it's no longer friendly. Meet your friends type place.
I think 1,000 is the magic number. Like for a show like that, it's like once you get beyond that, it's a different kind of show.
I don't go to bigger ones.
No?
Ones that are 2,000-3,000, I don't even go to.
Interesting.
I would go. So I went to TorCon 3 years ago in Toronto.
Okay.
To meet a bunch of my, international friends. I think I could find any of them. Do you know who I did find?
Ooh.
All sorts of Calgarians I've never met before.
Nice.
It was really bizarre.
It is how some of those shows work. Like for me, I like a balance. I like when I do promotion, I like doing shows like Phoenix Con. I like the bigger shows like that.
Sure. Yeah. If they're for business, bigger the better.
Yeah. Not always. Actually, it's an interesting balance. Some big shows you don't do very well.
It depends what their focus is.
You're right. Well, that also the factors too, like local economy, things of that nature. I've done well on smaller shows. Sometimes the smaller show serves you better than the bigger show, but it's a bit of a trial and error. But I do like certain shows. I do enjoy just for their just for what they are.
Yeah.
But in your case, it sounds like a tight knit is what you like.
I go to conferences to network, not to sell books.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
That's just me.
No, and that's.
I'm not a marketing guy. I don't like to market. So I go to network, meet people, talk to people, meet new people. Yeah.
Okay, so I gotta ask this: what's the difference between network and marketing? Because there is a little bit of marketing when you network.
There's a little bit, but I'm not a hard salesperson. So, you'll go to a conference and people sit at the front with their books in front of them, right? For a panel. I don't do that.
I actually think that's bad form, to be very honest with you.
I think unless the panel pertains
to the book launch itself.
To the book in a very, very strong way, yeah, you're actually not helping yourself.
Well, no, just from my experience, when I try to sell you something, you run. It's a natural inclination because you hear, just if you watch TV at all, you hear how many sales pitches a day, right?
Yeah.
If you're right, you do. I mean, and if you go on social media, how many pitches you hear a day? It doesn't really work.
So I always tell people that if you're speaking at a conference, you're not there to sell your product, you're there to sell you.
And I think that's actually
go there, talk, be an interesting person. That's why you're there.
I actually think that's the best marketing today, actually, because there are millions of books published every year.
So why do people love Neil Gaiman?
Because
he is very good at marketing himself.
Absolutely.
He talks, you listen, this is fantastic, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. He's been doing that since like Sandman came out way back, right? People invest in Neil Gaiman. The books are just how they support them, right? Which I think every author should be looking like you want people to invest in Randy McCharles.
Yeah.
Your books are, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, you want your books to sell, but you would rather people be fans of you, right? Right. Create those windows where people can support you and let them if they choose, and otherwise, just be you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which is really good.
Or be Joshua.
But that's right. Oh, I can only be me. I mean, I'm the only one. I'm the only one that would come up with like.
Your podcast has a great following because people like Joshua.
That's right, and my guests. If I didn't have good conversations with people, it wouldn't work.
Well, I'd be boring if you were talking to yourself. That's true.
Yeah.
But hey, you should try it. Interview yourself one time.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, see how well it goes. I think it'll go great.
I could just imagine that 5-minute conversation, just like, how you doing? Fine. It's like, and then people just like, what's he doing?
But what you do is you write a whole bunch of questions for yourself.
Okay.
Cards. You mix them up. Okay. And then I'm gonna ask you some random questions, and you pull one out and you ask yourself the question and answer it. So you don't even know what the next question is. Yeah, it would be cool.
Actually, if I really want to punish myself, have my sister come up with the questions. One time she...
Oh, that can be brutal.
No, she made me... I did a live podcast at Owl's Nest, right? So she made me pull things out of a hat. Sounds like a goldfish. I'm like, what?
Okay.
Yeah, that's my sister for you, right? So, I mean, again, she'll put me in like these awkward, like, okay, I'll go with this. I don't...
Yeah.
It's like... And then just watching the audience just try not to laugh their asses off, because it's like, what does that actually, it's like, how do you...
Yeah. I'm stumped. Sounds like a goldfish? I don't really know. What did you answer that?
I did the little goldfish-like thing, but actually my sister had the best answer. You could have just said, I'm a goldfish. Because really, there is no sound, so just make something up.
That's not funny.
Well, actually, it can be funny, although the way I did it ended up being funnier.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
because, again, people were laughing. It was a good time, but I was just like, that. If I want to torture myself, maybe for episode 400. If I get to 400, I'll do it.
Yes. Say, I've interviewed everybody. There's no one left, so I'm going to interview myself.
Yeah, I have never interviewed myself before. I've had other people interview me, but I've never interviewed myself. And the questions have been brought by my sister. It's like, oh, God.
Here's all the questions I wish my interviewers had asked me.
Yes. Yes, exactly. But, no, it sounds like you're very happy with where things are going.
Yeah, I just got a lot of work ahead of me, so I'm going to tackle it.
That's not a bad thought. That's not a bad spot to be in.
A lot of authors are sitting around wondering what to write next. I don't have that problem.
No, I don't either. Actually, I just find I just don't have enough time in the day.
Yeah. I got all sorts of projects sitting on idle waiting for me to get to.
So, actually, I'm going to ask this, and then I think we'll get to the wonderful plugs. 2 questions left. One is, do you prefer novels or short stories?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The longer the better. I like epics.
You like epics?
Yeah.
So, okay, I got to ask this. What's your favorite epic that you've read?
My favorite of all time, and again, at different stages of your life, things will feel differently.
Mm-hmm.
So it may not be my favorite if I read it new today.
Yeah.
But my favorite of all time has been The Bulgarian by David Eddings. That one I just read at the right time in my life for it to just really...
It's the quintessential formula for epic fantasy. It's really good.
Yes, but the characters were just freaking fantastic.
Oh yeah, and for that time, especially for that time, way ahead of the game.
And I was a young guy. I can't remember how old I was. I was 17, 18 or something, and like I say, it just rung a chord. That's why I got into writing speculative fiction, because I read The Bulgarian.
So what did you think of his other stuff?
Not as good.
No.
Especially the last series I couldn't finish.
Yeah.
I thought he whipped that off for a contract, and it was weak in my mind. But again, I was older.
Yeah.
And I've been spoiled by his earlier work, and so.
There's also something to be said. Like I've said this on a couple of things. Like when you do it the first time, like the one of the biggest challenges I think I realized as I get older is my voice changes, right? Because again, I've evolved and I get more experiences, and the more experiences I get, the more nuanced my writing becomes. Right, the trap I legitimately fear is when I get to the point where I'm saying the exact same thing. Because if I get to that point, I don't know. There comes a point where Eddings is one. There are other authors too where you end up saying the same thing over and over and over and over again. And yeah, it's a good experience sometimes, but
that's why writers want to end a series and write something else.
Yeah.
Because especially if you're in a series, you run the risk of, oh crap, I did that same plot 12 books ago.
Yep. And then you're like, well, what can I do to make it different? And if you can't, you're like, well, I'm done.
Or if you push it,
yeah,
it is different but makes no sense.
Yeah, then you're hooped. So I guess so when you get to that point, you'll go do another series with this. If you ever get to that point.
Well, again, I'm writing other stuff in parallel. I have a different crime series that I started.
Okay.
One that's a little harder, a little more serious, more like not hard-boiled but not soft-boiled, somewhere in between.
More contemporary, I guess.
This is contemporary too.
Yeah.
But it's set in Alaska.
That could be interesting.
And I'm trying to cater that more towards the American market.
Okay.
So I've got that. It'll be a long time before it sees the light of day because I'm focused on this one. But as opportunities come up to do a little writing on that, I do.
Yeah. So the last thing, I kind of wanted to do this here. I just wanted to say this because you know everything going on. I did want to do this properly. Thank you for everything you've done for me, man.
Thank you for being a friend.
Yeah, you're a good dude, and I still remember when I put my first When Words Collide. You helped me out big time, which was really, really good, and I really appreciate that. And you let me be a part of this crazy community for years, and it's been good. And
that's not my responsibility. That's our community's responsibility.
No. And ladies and gentlemen, honestly, the Calgary writing community is one of the best communities probably if not in the country, maybe even in the world. It's one of the best.
Amen.
Yeah, it really, really is. But I'm going to miss that the absolute most when I go.
You're online.
Yeah, absolutely. No. And I'll definitely be coming back to Calgary from time to time. But I did this. I don't know if you noticed. I went around to as many people as I could because I didn't know when I was going to see them again. Yeah. And I thanked them that whole weekend. It's great seeing grown men and women actually break down a little bit in tears when you do it. Not because not in a bad way, just because it's important to say thank you. It really is.
And it's sad that we hate to see you.
Yeah.
We'll see less of you. It's sad to see less of you.
Yeah, but I need it again. It's what I need to do for at least for right now. And
Hey, the world's small.
Yeah, no, it really is. It really, really is. All right.
Yeah, and I'll be your creative ink in the spring.
Oh no, I'm gonna creative ink. No, I'll see you there, and I'll definitely come back. The Dr. Seuss off so far has been a success, I think, for When Words Collide. So the Dr. Seuss off.
Oh yeah, people love Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, I got to come up with a new wrinkle next year. We'll have to figure it out, but that's a problem for next year. But I think we have a good interview, Mr. Randy. What do you think?
I think so too.
So this will air in about 2.5 weeks.
Oh, well, book 2 might be.
Yeah. So why don't you promote book 2, and then.
Okay.
Well,
quickly, book 1 is the murdered oil workers found on First Nations land outside of Fort McMurray, which is kind of a cool concept. Book 2 is the Christmas book. It's the Christmas Carol Murders, where a high school production of A Christmas Carol, the ghosts start dying. So someone is turning the ghosts into ghosts. Now these are played by teachers, not students.
Okay. Yeah.
It is an adult book.
Yes.
Actually, no students are involved in the book.
No students were harmed in the making of book 2.
Yeah. But it is the Christmas story. It takes place at Christmas time, and it's pretty much a serial killer novel.
So, all right, that's cool. How can people find you?
RandyMcCharles.com.
All right. This podcast for this month is sponsored by Third Space. It is a comedy world-building podcast in which your hosts, Kevin Weir and Jeremy Berkeley, create worlds based on tropes and concepts from movies, television, video games, books, and more. What does that mean exactly? It means you can expect worlds where humans level up, mascots are real, animals grant riches, and Skeletor wants you to rise up against the bourgeois. Why? Just cuz. It's also home to the Third Space World Generator, where using the power of the RNGesus from the internet, Kevin and Jeremy create brand new worlds from scratch. Third Space can be found on thirdspacepodcast.com or on the podcast app of your choice. And that was my conversation with Randy McCharles. Randy is obviously releasing his latest murder mystery series, Softboiled Detective. It's out now. Christmas Carol Murders is the next book in the series, and that's what's out. Definitely take a look at it. I'm going to be picking up the series myself because I think it's really cool. Randy is a great writer, and he's a good friend. He's a good man, and any chance you guys get to support him, you should. He's a good dude. And Randy, as always, you are welcome back on the show anytime you'd like. And that is the Aurora series for now. I had a lot of other guests I was hoping to interview. Just timing just didn't quite work out, but that doesn't mean I don't have plenty of guests coming up. I have 4 more episodes until 300. Quentin Barr is my next guest this week. I got Kevin Weir next week. All next week is Kevin Weir. I haven't figured out, and Savannah Denise, I think, is going to be episode 299. October is going to be a very interesting month. Due to the fact that I'm moving, I'm not going to be doing any physical giveaways, but I will be doing lots of digital giveaways for the next month or two. It's going to be a great little fun time. If you're a video game music fan, I got some really cool stuff heading your way. All right. Beyond all that, though, thank you very much for listening to another great episode, Just Joshing. If you want to support the podcast, you can use it a lot of different ways. Support my sponsors, Claudia Morgan. He's got a science fiction database. You should definitely check that out. His books, Decadence of Souls, Water Entanglement are definitely things you should read. Indie Imprint, your one-stop place for, independent creators, whether you're a writer, gamer, musician, you name it. These guys will help you develop your product, present it to the world. They are great. Third Space Podcast, Kevin Weir, Jeremy Berkeley. Jeremy Berkeley's doing the voiceovers. Chicken Dewey's doing a killer job. Kevin is super talented, like I said, so this is going to be a fun little episode coming up. Check them out. You can support my podcast by subscribing to the podcast. Podmatic, Google Play, Spotify, iTunes, I'm on all those things. Leave ratings, comments, share it. Awesome YouTube channels, Joshua Penteloresco. Merchandise is jpenteloresco.redbubble.com. You can support the podcast directly or buy my Sparkle Sparkle t-shirt, which I just released. My books, Watcher, Storm Dancer, Wandering God, Mirror World Publishing. Twitter, Instagram, jpenteloresco. All that said, stay inspired, guys. I will talk to you guys this Friday with my next episode.
Josh.